He's sitting right here. All right. We've got to demonstrate something real quick. We don't have much time. So, what's your name, doll?
Julie.
Julie. All right. Now, we're going to show these fellas how to treat a lady, okay? First of all, yeah, ladies, that's all right. That's all right. First of all, if your name is Julie, the guy just can't greet you. Hey, Julie. Hey, Jewel. No, fellas, you need some suave, all right? So when you come home, you got to say, Julie. All right. Then we've got to get some flowers, some champagne, flowers going all the way from the door, all the way through the hallway, up the stairs, to wherever you want those in the house. Is that all right, ladies? Is that okay? Okay? Now, once you get everything exactly the way you want to, then you got to put on some Earth, Wind, and Fire, all right? And leave it to me. Would that be all right, ladies? And then surprise her by doing something like this with Gary Bias.
And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Serrone, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona, on 7:53 p.m. on the clock, 10:53 back east. Just give you up some scores from baseball. 9-3 final Yankees over the Orioles. 4-2 Houston over Boston. Top 8 Arizona. Actually, this is in Arizona right now. 1-0. Bottom 4 Arizona. Middle third, Miami and San Diego 0-0. Final after 12, Seattle over Detroit, 3-2. 3-0 Minnesota Twins defeating the Los Angeles Angels. Toronto over Oakland 5-2. Here we go. Pittsburgh over the Nationals here, 7-3. The Dodgers over the Mets, 3-0. Chicago White Sox defeating the Cleveland Indians 8-1. And then finally the St. Louis Cardinals defeating the Kansas City Royals 4-3. As I mentioned, I'm going to go over the top 11, the best starting 11 of all time. And that can mean a lot. honestly, you could see there's a lot of positions that you can pick. Obviously, for me, I'd go obviously goalie in the back, four in defense, and 2-2 usually. But hey, these players are the best of all time. Now, I'm going to go with what Fox Sports says, and I'm going to go with my pick. I think I only have maybe one or two changes, really. So let's just start it off. In net, if it's able to pull up, Fox Sports decided to go with Lev Yashin, who was, again, the best goalie and the only player to be named best player in the world in 1963. He revolutionized the art of goalkeeping. Previously, keepers were happy to wait in line, waiting behind the sticks until a save needed to be made. Yashin, on the other hand, would verbally organize the defense, tackle on-rushing attackers, and intercept crosses. Overall, true commander. I would say yes, he did revolutionize the game. No question about that. If I were to make a substitution for this, obviously I'd go with Iker Casillas, just because, as I mentioned last week, he is the best goalkeeper of all time. And to have ever played the game. So do I think that needs to be changed? Yes, I could probably agree with that. But look, this is not a bad pick. Yashin, again, is the only player to be named best player in the world as a goalie. So that's really impressive there. In the back, you have Cafu from Brazil, the most cap player in Brazil's history, which is hard to believe. 142 caps, one Champions League title, 2 World Cups. Put him in an elite group of players. His ability to command the defense was absolutely phenomenal. Back in 94, he commanded a great Brazilian team. 98 brought him to the final. 2002, another World Cup, defeating Germany 2-0. Again, he's arguably one of the best players of all time. I have no problem having them in the back. In the back as well, you have Dirk Kaiser, Franz Beckenbauer, definitely winning a World Cup in 1974 and 3 back-to-back European Cups with Bayern Munich. Pretty impressive there. Essentially creating the attacking sweeper role. He pretty much was the man in the back in the 1970s. Very impressive there, so no argument from me. Number 8, Franco Baresi. He stayed with AC Milan throughout the entire span of his career, which was 20 years, a lot for a soccer player. And again, he played for AC Milan in Italy and played for the Italian national team, winning a World Cup in 1982, being in another final 12 years later in 1994. On top of that, 6 Serie A titles, 3 Champions League titles, and again, as I mentioned, a World Cup win in 1982. He's pretty much done it all. Phenomenal player. I still have the tape at my parents' house of the 1994 World Cup, watching that game between Brazil and Italy. That's arguably one of the top 3 or 4 finals I will ever see on a tape ever. Granted, I think for me the best final of all time, I'll probably have to go Spain over the Netherlands back in 2010. But yeah, this is definitely up there. Just with the amount of players that were on that field was just phenomenal. The fact that Baresi led a team defensively all the way to the final, very great. At number 7, another Italian, Paolo Maldini, another player who played on the Italian national team, played with Baresi as well, played with AC Milan for 25 years. 5 European Cups, 7 Serie A titles. Very impressive. Made over 900 appearances with AC Milan. And yet, his dad played at AC Milan. He played at AC Milan. He's a legend. He is just one of the best players. His versatility and ability to play with either foot was absolutely phenomenal to watch. And just honestly, one of the most complete defenders you will ever watch. At number 6, can't go wrong with this one, Zinedine Zidane. One of my biggest memories from him, and again, people will say the 2006 where he headbutted Marco Materazzi in the World Cup final. That was the last time he ever played soccer. Was that? seeing him walk right next to the World Cup was again an image that will stain his resume a little bit, at least for me. But the first World Cup that I remember watching was 1998, and that time was phenomenal for France. The World Cup was in France. That was the last World Cup of the millennium, and Zidane was a player that, again, he was a really good player, but he elevated himself to that superstar level, scoring 2 goals in the final, both off headers. Again, this is a Brazil team that just had won the World Cup 4 years prior, in '94. Had the Brazilian Ronaldo, who was arguably the best player in the world at the time, and Zidane just outplayed everybody. He was the best player on the field, best player in that tournament by far. Moving on to number 5, Johan Cruyff. No problem here. Led the Netherlands to two finals in 1974 and 78. They lost to West Germany in 1974, Argentina in 78. But still, even for the Netherlands, even though they lost both of those finals, still impressive resume. 8 league titles, 3 European Cups. His ability to be swift with either foot was great. And again, I think his inventing the Cruyff turn is one of the moves that are still legendary to this day. At number 4, you have Alfredo Di Stefano. Never played in the World Cup, though. And the fact that he's still high on this list is still pretty impressive. Played for 3 international teams, which was unheard of now, obviously. But back then, due to circumstances, due to war, he was able to do that. Played for Spain, Argentina, and Colombia at the international level. His ability to score was phenomenal. 307 goals in 396 appearances for Real Madrid, and 485 goals total in 664 games in his entire career. And of course, winning 5 consecutive European Cups with Real Madrid, a record to this day. No problem there with that resume. Di Stefano, one of the better players at Real Madrid. Ronaldo closing in on his records, but still very impressive there. At number 3, you have Diego Maradona, as expected. A player who was as big on the field as he was off. Very controversial both on and off the field, but still. His technical ability on the ball was second to none. His outstanding displays on the national team was phenomenal. And, of course, his spells with Barcelona. For me, what I remember most is his time with Napoli, a team that is, again, starting to make some noise now. Back then, they were a club that they were very dangerous in the 1980s and early 90s. And a lot of it had to do with being with Maradona playing there. Of course, winning the World Cup in 1986, very impressive. Of course, the hand of God, as we all know. That's a lasting image in World Cup history. Yet, look, it counted. Maradona has a World Cup. So, enough said there. At number 2, surprisingly enough, you have Lionel Messi. I think at the end of the day, yes, he does deserve to be in the greatest 11. And honestly, if you look at the resume, why not? 354 goals in all competitions, and he's just 20. This article was just made last year. So 354 goals in all competitions at the age of 27. Just to get an update on that, I'll pull it up. But Messi, again, he is the standard. He is the reason he is on almost every cover of FIFA now. He plays for Barcelona. He just won another Champions League. So, I mean, realistically, he's phenomenal. I mean, and it's a nice thing for all the little guys around the world that, you don't have to be as all tall. The best player in the world, 5'6". 5'6". That's all I'm saying. So, overall, if you tally the goals that he has for both Barcelona and Argentina, it's going to total up right now, so just give me 1 second here. 423. Wow. Oh, nope, sorry, not 423. Nope. That's not it. No, it's something around 400. But yeah. Overall, honestly, Messi, again, he's the golden standard. He is the player that Real Madrid fans like me hate. But when you watch him on Argentina, you can't help but root for him. watching the World Cup last year, I was thinking I was in New Jersey. This was on my East Coast vacation,